He was born a slave and died one of the most influential teachers of his time. But Epictetus wouldn't have considered himself a teacher. He was a philosopher, a Stoic philosopher, a man who sought a very specific kind of knowledge. The knowledge that, when applied, helped with facing and overcoming the inevitable difficulties of life. And through a combination of his own life experiences and the wisdom of his mentor, the Stoic philosopher Lysimachus Rufus, Epictetus had the kind of insight that people traveled hundreds of miles for the chance to hear, even if only for an hour or two. They sent their children to hear him. Even the poor, the affluent, the powerful, and even the future Emperor Hadrian were told they all vied for the chance to sit down at Epictetus' feet. Unfortunately, there was a young man who regularly got to listen to Epictetus, and he wrote down what Epictetus had to say. Unfortunately, these notes survive to us and have been passed on to some of history's greatest figures over the last few thousand years. Hopefully, after this video, you'll add your name to the list of Epictetus' admirers, because he truly was one of the wisest and most inspiring people to ever live. Lesson 1. Epictetus said, "Our job is this, to divide and distinguish things into two categories. Externals I cannot control. This single scale," Epictetus said, "will change your life. The art of differentiating between what's up to us and what is not up to us. What we have influence over and what we do not. If the flight is delayed due to weather, no amount of yelling at the airline representative will end the storm. No amount of wishing will make you taller or shorter or born in a different country, no matter how hard you try. On top of all that, time spent hurling yourself at these immovable objects is time not spent on things we can change. As Epictetus said, all we can control is the choices we make right now, and the same is true for you. Focus on making clear what parts of your day are within your control and what parts are not. You will not only be happier, but you will have a distinct advantage over all the people who fail to realize they are wasting their time on unwinnable battles." Lesson 3. Epictetus said, "Get rid of self-conceit. It's impossible to learn that which one thinks they already know." Epictetus kept his eyes and ears open, always actively looking for opportunities to learn from everyone and everything. And this is the attitude we must take with us day in and day out. Whether we're one of the best at what we do or just starting out, it doesn't matter. Every person we meet, every situation we find ourselves in, every book we read or movie we watch, there is an opportunity to learn, to keep getting better, and to take another step forward on the path to progress. And that was one of Epictetus' favorite questions: how have you made progress? We answer that question by focusing on what you don't know. Lesson 4. Epictetus said, "The true man is revealed in difficult time. So when trouble comes, think of yourself as a wrestler paired with a tough young buck. For what purpose? To turn you into Olympic class material." We can think of hardship many ways: as failure, as unfairness, as the end of the conversation. We say, "They don't want me to succeed, what's the point of trying?" But we can choose ourselves and train ourselves to see things better, as an opportunity to learn patience, perseverance, and struggle, as an opportunity to prove our ability, as a sparring partner. Epictetus preferred the latter and became, in his time and in ours, the ultimate symbol of the ability of a human being to overcome dark circumstances. He said it was not about accepting hardship or resigning ourselves to it, but agreeing to work with it, to decide to make the most of it, to see hardship as an opportunity, not as an obstacle. And this is why we can turn everything that happens to us into fuel, and we can be made better and stronger by everything that happens. Lesson 5. Seneca wrote, "There are more things likely to frighten us than they are to crush us. We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Seneca's life was full of suffering. He was born with a chronic lung condition. He lived through the reigns of the first of 5 emperors, each increasingly more deranged and violent than the previous. He was exiled and lost everything twice. And yet, his advice was that the only thing we should be worried about is what we worried about. We spend so much time imagining and worrying in advance that we torment ourselves more than the thing we worry about can torment us. And that is if it actually happens at all. The most important thing to remember about pain and suffering, Seneca said, is that it is inevitable. It can't be avoided. But what you must avoid is the phantom premonitions of what may or may not happen. Instead of suffering and imagining, focus on what's immediately in front of you. Stay in present, stay in reality. Wait for the next part.